Whoa! Shots fired from Simona Halep. I don't want to say her name. The woman player. You know who I'm talking about. And this is juicy, ladies and gentlemen. From the desk of Simona Halep. Let's get into it. As always, this video is brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Act. All the body language experts, come to the comments. What do you feel? Social media has expressed their opinion, and they think Iga Swiatek, from the looks of this interview, that she feels embarrassed, ashamed. But is there more to it, ladies and gentlemen? In case you're not familiar, that's right, the story. Iga Swiatek involved in, I don't know, is this a doping scandal or not? The ITIA found Iga Swiatek tested positive for TMZ. And look, they gave her the benefit of the doubt. The evidence shows, according to Iga Swiatek's team in the ITIA, that this was a mistake. She took a contaminated supplement, or should I say medicine? That's right, guys. Melatonin, a sleep aid. We all know she has a very busy schedule as then the current world's ranked #1 on tour. She has a lot of press obligations, a lot of fan obligations, match endorsements, sponsors. She has a lot going on. She's big time, in case you didn't know it, ladies and gentlemen. But Simona Halep does not agree with this. Simona Halep, when speaking to the Telegraph, she said, look, I lost 2 years of my career. What is this? That's right. When talking about Iga Swiatek, and listen, she did not state her name, but she threw shots. She said the woman player. I don't want to give her name, but you know who I'm talking about. What is this? She's suspended for 3 weeks, plays 2 tournaments, comes back, suspended again. What is this, ladies and gentlemen? Unbelievable. That's right. In case you're not familiar, Iga Swiatek was allowed to play several tournaments during her 30-day suspension. Simona Halep is outraged. She calls this entitlement, unfair treatment, and they're showing a special liking to Iga Swiatek. Now, listen, guys, their 2 cases were different. We understand that. But when we're taking a look at the actions of the ITIA, were they fair actions? Now, if Iga Swiatek tested positive for TMZ initially, was the initial punishment fair? It appears from Simona Halep's point of view, she was given time to defend herself and play. But let's take a step back. The ITIA fined Iga Swiatek a game check, right? She had to forfeit her earnings from the master event in Cincinnati. But the reality here is this, guys. That's a lot of money. Why? She's innocent. Give her her money back, according to the ITIA. But ladies and gentlemen, several players weighing in on this topic. This is a juicy discussion. And not everyone thinks Iga Swiatek is innocent here. That's right, guys. Allegedly. Now, the facts state that Iga Swiatek, although testing positive for TMZ, it was contaminated. So is she a doper? Is she a PED user? Technically, no, right? That was an accident. But according to other players and former players and coaches, a lot of people think this is a scandal. And quite frankly, when it comes to Kafelnikov, former Russian player, he's not okay with this, guys. He says, and he criticized Jannik Sinner and Iga Swiatek, and he made it loud and clear. He says, this is setting the wrong example for young teenage kids that want to be professional tennis players, that it's okay to dope and use steroids and get away with it. Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, shots fired. So we know one person there allegedly does not think this was a contamination. He thinks it was intentional. And Nick Kyrgios, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what about Ellen Perez, Australian player? She said, look, there's no excuse for this happening again because the WTA gives players free melatonin. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And Nick Kyrgios would echo these statements and say, it's literally setting a bad example for the future stars to come, the future players to come. It looks to me like Nick Kyrgios thinks Iga Swiatek was doing this intentionally. And look, he's not the type of guy to hold his tongue, to bite his tongue, or bite his lip. I don't know. What is that phrase? He's not the kind of guy to stay quiet. He's going to speak his mind. And Nick Kyrgios is not buying it. He thinks that Iga Swiatek was using. But there's other players that support Iga Swiatek. Andy Roddick, he came to Iga Swiatek's defense. He said, look, I can't call this doping. Well, I mean, I can't call it doping either. The reports are what they are. They're stating this was a contaminated substance. But listen to me. This is going to prove, in my opinion, Iga Swiatek's innocence. Is there going to be a lawsuit? Because the damage is already done. Iga Swiatek has already switched PR campaigns. She's got a new PR team, right? Where's the lawsuit? If the lawsuit comes, then I know, in my opinion, I know this was a mistake. Because if the lawsuit comes, this is going to bring out the discovery, and this is going to bring out the facts of this matter. But if no lawsuit comes, then that kind of tells me we don't want the facts to come out because there's something bigger at play here. Me personally, this is my opinion, right, guys? I've thought, and listen, if you follow the channel, you understand. We're going to go back to that 21 championship in Guadalajara, Mexico, where Iga Swiatek was clear. And this is my analytics. This is my observation, but this is several experts as well, in contrast to what I'm saying. We've all felt, and this is on the record, if you watch that tournament, you heard all the experts say the same thing that I said. Iga Swiatek was the weakest player there. She was the worst player there in Mexico. Who did we have there? We had Karolina Pliskova, who Iga has just dominated since. Aryna Sabalenka, who Iga has just dominated since. Maria Sakkari, who Iga has just dominated since. Paula Badosa, who Iga Swiatek has just dominated since. Annette Kontaveit, she's going to dominate her. Garbiña's gone. And Barbora, Iga Swiatek would have success against her. Most recently, Barbora would kind of turn the tide, but losing the last matchup in Saudi Arabia, Iga Swiatek just beat her. We all agree that Iga Swiatek was the weakest player there. 36-win season, 2 championships. In a matter of 2.5 months, Iga Swiatek comes out, takes the tour by storm, turns the sunshine double into a routine day at the beach, 70-win season, shatters Venus Williams' record, 8 championships. The next year, yes, she doubled her win percentage, dominating. She even opened her own bakery. It's called Iga's Bakery, handing out so many bagels and breadsticks. We could not believe what the heck was going on here, ladies and gentlemen. The next season, 69 wins, 6 titles. This past season, 66 wins, 5 titles. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, 5 total Grand Slams. Iga Swiatek has dominated the tour. 4 Grand Slams later. I just thought it was too good to be true, in my personal opinion. And again, look, the facts say she's a clean player. That's what the facts say. The ITIA says she's a clean player. But I thought her performance was just unreal. For someone's game that I followed, and I said she would be big time, she's a great player. But to start dominating the best in the world like that, I don't know. I found it hard to believe. What is going on here? Because I watched her game, I watched her struggles, and normally there's a curve, right? Whenever you're learning something or adjusting to something, there's a learning curve. Iga Swiatek just shot straight up to the sky. And that was just unbelievable. What do you guys think? A lot of people feel it was a little suspect. I mean, the way she took the tour by storm was just insane to me. And, you know, a lot of people come to the channel. They're saying, hey, Sabalenka should be investigated. Look, all the players received doping tests all throughout the year. Okay, if you don't know how it works, a lot of times they'll pop up at your hotel room at 6 a.m. testing you, 5 a.m., 4 a.m., all types of hours to test you. But they're also testing before the matches, after the matches, you know, wherever they can get to you, they're testing. So there's testing all the time. But someone brought up something very interesting. Lance Armstrong said he passed over 500 tests and never got caught, but he said he was using all the while. He said, well, how did you pass these drug tests? He said, it's simple. If they test you You're not going to be tested again in the same day for the most part. But he said, once you're tested, or when you know you're in the clear and you're not going to be tested, let's say your match is an hour or your race is an hour or your race is 4 hours. Well, you know what you need to do within that time period. And a lot of these substances, they can be removed from your system in an hour or two or 3 or 4, depending on what it is, according to Lance Armstrong, right? But listen, guys, Iga Swiatek, it's been proven she's not a doper, according to the ITIA. But a lot of coaches and professionals, they think this is a scandal. They think that she has been using. Nick Kyrgios, it appears from his statements, he believes that, right? Ellen Perez, she kind of threw shots at Iga Swiatek, but Simona Halep is talking about the special treatment that Iga Swiatek received by the ITIA. She's saying, look, you're suspended for 3 months. You're allowed to play. Stop. Resume the suspension. She said, that's crazy. I lost 2 years out of my life. And she says, look, now the struggle she's having is just getting her body back into playing mode. I talked about this, whether it's the ladies having children or just taking a mental leave. It's, from my perspective, from my analytics, it's taking 2 seasons for these players to get back in form. Simona Halep lost 2 years of her career. You might as well say 4. And she was the victim. Simona Halep was a victim as well. The truth came out. Now, she did have irregular passport levels. That's something we're not going to get into. The ITIA kind of thought that was a suspicion into some alleged activity, but she's been proven innocent. That was not her fault. She was handed a contaminated beverage by Patrick. And listen, 4 years at her age, it's tough. It's tough. And she talks about now when she plays how her body's sore. Her mind is just not connecting with her body. She's just one step slow. I think she'll be back. She's a great player, but she took shots at Iga Swiatek. What do you guys think? Comment below, guys. Nick Kyrgios, he thinks Iga Swiatek is using. That's what Nick Kyrgios thinks. What do you guys think? All right? Kafelnikov from Russia, he thinks that Iga Swiatek, caught up in this scandal, is sending the wrong message to children that want to be future stars that it's okay to use steroids and doping. He thinks Iga Swiatek is guilty. The ITIA has proven she's not guilty. She's not guilty of doping or using, ladies and gentlemen. It was a cross-contamination. That's not her fault. So all of these comments and opinions from former players and coaches, allegedly, that's what they suspect. But what do you suspect, ladies and gentlemen? Me? If the ITIA says she's clean, then we have to accept she's clean. All right? We have to accept she's clean. But in my personal opinion, I thought her results since that 21 season have been suspect. She's dominating the best in the world, and they're not even winning service games off of her. Very few. She is dominating these players. I don't know. Maybe the world will never know. Tennis in a minute. Get your popcorn, folks. This is going to be a juicy discussion. Come to the comments. The body experts think. Is that a smirk? They think Iga Swiatek feels ashamed, embarrassed here. I would agree. I mean, this is a big thing. But listen, we're going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Contaminations, they can happen. But wait a minute. Is this a bigger operation here? Is there something bigger going on here? I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know. I don't have the answers. But one thing we do know is Iga Swiatek, according to the ITIA, is not a cheater. This was an accident. So we're going to have to give her the benefit of the doubt. Tennis in a minute. Comment below. We'll be back.